Welcome to this live talk here at the Academy's film studio. My name is Nadine and I'm the Application and Admission Manager from the Intake Department of International Academy. And you will be meeting your future student success managers in today's live talk. Okay, Sophia and Jonas will be telling you a bit more later on about what they're actually doing. And you will also be meeting your career manager, Franziska. And they will not only give you practical tips and useful information on how to succeed in your future master studies, but they will also be available for an exclusive Q&A session, okay? So if you already have some questions about our studies here, keep them in mind or already write them into the Zoom chat only, okay? I know that some guys might be watching from YouTube as well. I'm not sure if the chat function there works. So for our Zoom audience, please use the Zoom chat to write down your questions. Good. Yeah, let's start this little live talk here with a warming up question to getting to know each other. Actually, Sophia, tell us more about yourself, please.
Well, hi Nadine, hi everyone. Yes, I'm Sofia Valenda and I'm a student success manager here at the Academy. I come from Puerto Rico, so Spanish is my mother tongue. I was also a student once, a master's student in Germany, so I know how exciting and also daunting it can be to, move to a new country, get around all the bureaucracy that happens around here. And I wish I had someone to guide me when I was a master's student.
I bet. What about you, Jonas?
I'm from Aachen, so actually I was born and raised here in Aachen. And yeah, as Sophia said, we are student success managers. We also have a third one who's not here today with us. And as student success managers, our job is to be basically your go-to contact for everything regarding your studies, everything around your studies, whether it's questions about your exam, some structural things about your curriculum, or you have some questions about your master's thesis later on, or internship. Like anything what relates to your studies is basically our job, and we try to guide you through the different curves and different mountains of your journey.
True, yeah. And we actually have around 300 enrolled students at the moment here at the International Academy, which sounds like a lot. And you already mentioned you are a team of 3 student success managers. So how would you sum up your main goals or responsibilities when it comes to support our students? Just briefly.
Yeah, we help them get settled, navigate their first semester, see how the workload is looking like. There are things like exam registration, which is different, and it's a very formal process depending from what country you come from. We get you informed about this, and don't assume that things work naturally as they would, work in your home country. Germany can be quite bureaucratic in that sense as well. So that's why it is very important that for any questions you have, you always just reach out to us.
Yeah. Reach out mostly via email,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. or book an appointment with
Right.
us. That's also always a chance. We have multiple spots every week available for you to just come to us, book an appointment, and just tell us what's going on, tell us what's bothering you, or if you have something great to share. So we actually also prepared some examples later on, so we can show you some examples of how it can look like if you approach us actually. And if you have questions, of course, feel free to write them, and we will be answering them afterwards.
Exactly. How many mails do you get per week, just approximately?
Yeah, I would say around 100, but it really varies to the state of the semester, for example. So now I would say it's quite a lot because just the summer semester has started. So there's a lot of change going on. Some examination regulations were changing. Some things about the language courses, which have their deadlines now. So currently, I would say the workload is a little bit higher. Then it usually declines a little bit during the semester. And then, of course, in the end of the summer semester, it will be even more because then you have not only the exams, but also the graduations and, of course, the arrival of the new intake, so of you guys.
Exactly. Busy times always, basically. And talking about busy times, we are currently in our admission phase. And I know that some of you might still be in the process of making their decision, which and if to join us. And we want to help you, okay? Make a wise decision. And that's why Sophia and Jonas have prepared a little presentation for you guys here on how to succeed in your studies.
Exactly. So let's go. Let's get to it.
Oh yeah, that's important.
That's important. So we prepared, I already mentioned some mountains of your journey. We prepared a small slide for you to give you some examples of your journey. So Sophia, can you tell more about it?
So, we want you to think as your master's degree as a journey, right? And when you're about to climb something, in this case, the mountains, it can look a bit daunting, right? But we want you to know that although there is beginning, in this case, the onboarding phase where we get you informed about how things worked, the processes, and so on. There's also an ending to this journey, which is our goal that you graduate, of course, and this ends with the alumni program, right? But everything in between, when you are in your journey to different stages of your studies, we want you to know that you don't have to do this alone. And that's why we have other services like the career program, which Franziska von Meer will tell you more about in detail later. We also have the health services. We have partnered with the Techniker Krankenkasse to offer you some courses on time management, also to de-stress a bit during the semester. Last year we had running courses and the weather was fabulous. So this year we have yoga courses. So different things going on around that, right? Because we also care about your health. And at the center of the mountain, you will find, of course, the advice and support, which is what we do. You will find us there to support you throughout these different stages that you will find throughout your journey as a student. And for that, we have some cases of what our daily day looks like, right?
Exactly. We prepared some cases which are based on real cases. So just we recreated them a little. So these pictures you see, they're AI generated, but the cases are based on real events. So let's start with the first one regarding homesickness. Maria Santos in the program MSc CAME was writing us, "Dear SSM team, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to ask if you could talk to someone, if I could talk to someone because I'm having a difficult time adjusting. I just arrived in Germany a few weeks ago and everything still feels very new and overwhelming. I'm not always sure how things work out here. I feel a bit lost with all the new systems, courses, responsibilities. I really want to succeed in the program, but right now I'm struggling a bit to find my rhythm." Maria Santos. So.
Yeah, this can happen, right? And I can totally relate. When where I come from, it's sunny throughout all the year. You don't have to worry about the weather. What is even the weather a topic? But in this case, you come here. The first semester, it's like coming at you at once, right? The weather change in this case, maybe the studies, maybe getting around Germany and so on. So of course, it's very exciting. But maybe at some point you feel like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm here alone, but you're not, right? So we can have a consultation, sit together, maybe check how your workload is looking like, and maybe even connect you to other students if you haven't, right? Maybe there is if Maria is from Latin America, let's say, maybe we can connect her to other students that are also going through the same situation as well, right? Because it's about feeling connected.
Yeah, exactly. That's also the reason why we have like a few social events built for you, like starting with the Welcome Week. So Maria Santos might have missed maybe the Welcome Week. That's why she doesn't have so much context right now. So let's just assume she just arrived a little bit late, doesn't have any contact. So she would probably write this mail around October, November. So the next social event would be then the Christmas party. Of course, we would invite her there, and then there she can basically start building her network, start connecting to other students, just getting more of this community feeling here at the academy. And of course, some of you might already have experienced a situation like this. So if you're familiar with the situation, you can always leave us a comment or an emoji in the chat so we can see like how you reacted in the situation. But for now, let's move on with our next case.
And we have a common situation about exams, right? Dear SSM team, I just learned that I failed my second attempt of finance and accounting. Whoa. I was aware that the exam would be tough, but despite my efforts, I didn't manage to succeed. I am not sure what the best way to handle this situation is. Best regards, Live.
Yeah,
This is not something to be ashamed of,
exactly.
although it sounds stressful, right?
Yeah, it sounds very stressful. Like if you failed an exam for the second time, you only have one attempt left because there are not unlimited attempts. So, but the most important thing is failure, or like failing in an exam is nothing to be ashamed of. It's something to approach us with. So if you try to your first time, it didn't go well, you try a second time and it still didn't work out, please come to us, because we don't really see if you failed an exam. We are not your professors. We are not grading you. So we don't realize when things are happening like this. So please come to us, approach us, and then we are there to help you. So in this situation, I actually had a very similar case last summer of a student who was also struggling with finance and accounting. This is often the case when students don't have the background of these particular subjects. So as you know, most of our subjects or most of our study programs are engineering programs. So in this case, when you decide to opt for these management courses in management and engineering, you might not have the background of accounting. So of course, it can be quite challenging, and the university in general, of course, is very challenging. That's why your degree in the end is that valuable. But if you find you're struggling, you can come to us. We can figure out why you failed. For example, let's say it was a language barrier problem. Then we can try to connect you with someone from your home country, so you can just study together in your mother tongue, for example. Or it might just be that you were unfamiliar with the content. Then we can just figure out who of the previous students was very good at this exam. And then we can try to give you like a study buddy or a tutor. And then this way we can support you in eventually being successful in this exam. And again, it's nothing to be ashamed of failing. It's very important that you approach us directly, so we can actually be able to help you.
And to be aware that exam chances are not unlimited as well, right? This is something that happens here as well.
Exactly. And to our last case.
It can also be a successful. So let's talk about achievements, right?
Yes.
We have Arjun Mehta, and dear SSM team, I would also like to share a personal academic achievement. I am happy to inform you that my first research paper has been published in a Q1 journal. The paper has been accepted by Elsevier's Journal of Ocean Engineering and Science, holding an impact factor of 11. Wow.
That's quite an achievement. And that's a great example of approaching us even if you're not struggling, like quite the opposite. So if you're successful, if you have something you're proud of, please contact us. Because again, we won't be aware of this if you don't come to us. So of course, in this situation, it's also again based on a real story. We had a student with a very similar publishment. His impact factor was, I think, even a little bit higher than this. But again, we were very proud of him, and he's like an excellent role model for other students. So if you have something you're proud of course, please come to us, share it with us. Let's celebrate these achievements together, because you can come to us with positive and negative stories. The quintessential thought is here: just approach us with anything related to your studies. And we prepared some key messages to you for you to just
take away, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So as you've seen, successful students share their stories and worries. So we want to know how you're doing individually. If it's something that was bad for you, good, we want to know how you're doing, and we want to help you throughout the way.
Exactly. Especially when you share your stories and worries, we are actually able to be of assistance for you. Mm-hmm. And that's also why we have the next key message for you. Successful students contact us at least once per semester. Because when you're close to us, you're just way less likely to miss anything. You're familiar with all the events which are happening right now. You're just aware of everything what's important for you, basically. And we are also aware of your situation. So if there's anything going sideways, we are there to assist you from the first moment, basically, to back you up, which we wouldn't be if you don't contact us regularly. And the last part is also quite important.
Right. Successful students are part of our events. And we have a huge event in September, which is the Welcome Week. And it ends with the Welcome Day, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is also your first in-person event. So this is very important that you're already in Aachen at this time. So the Welcome Week starts September 22nd. And the Welcome Week consists of social events for networking, but also very important academic events where you, for example, meet your academic advisors and can ask questions related to your studies. So this is an excellent opportunity to get all the questions out which have built up until then. But also, of course, it's a very good chance for you to network.
Yeah, exactly. So we hope to see you in September.
Exactly. And if you have any questions, let us know. We are now open for the Q&A. So
Yeah, exactly. Audience, if I were you, I would take this opportunity here today to ask the questions you still have on your mind. Even, if you have already decided to join us, or especially then, you might have questions like, how will my curricula be like, how can you help me manage my workload and stuff like that. All those questions you can really ask to your two success managers here today. And I can see there is already one question in the chat from Raf. What are the options if a third exam attempt is failed as well? Is it possible to drop the course and just replace it with another?
do you want to answer this?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, we have to look at the program, right? But the idea is if you do fail a third attempt, which is the last one, we don't want anyone to get to that point. You have to ask the professor or the lecturer if there's a possibility for you to do an oral exam, right? And based on that, then it's either pass or fail. And once you completely fail, it is not possible to continue with the program. So that is why we encourage you to really reach out to us in your second attempt as well.
Yeah. And to answer the second part of your question, you can't really drop a course once you've written the first attempt of the exam. So once you decided for a module, even if it's an elective module, you can't escape the module once you've written your first attempt. So with a compulsory, of course, you have to write all of them anyways. But with the elective ones, you're basically locked in as soon as you've written your first attempt. But again, always contact us, inform us, and then we can figure out a way for you to be successful and eventually pass the exam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe talking about exams before I go to the next question. Many international students struggle with the German exam scheme. What would be your advice for them?
I mean, I think Aachen is quite international as well, right? And you will either get around by learning German or talking English. So I think there's no way around it. You will be forced to practice around with your peers, you know. So I think it's a perfect chance for you to take it and just go ahead and maybe with your roommates, classmates, just go ahead and practice and practice.
Okay.
Yeah, and regarding the exam pattern, for example, I think in some countries it's not common, like in Germany, that you have basically all the exams in the end of the semester. In Germany, that's pretty normal for most of our study programs, not all, but for most of you, it will be like that you will have all the exams in the end of one semester. Which doesn't mean that you should start in the end of a semester to study for these exams. Basically, the idea is you visit the lectures, you visit the exercises, you practice alongside your semester, which still gives you a lot of flexibility in Germany. So often lectures don't have the requirement of attendance. You can just decide if you want to go to the lecture or not. Usually we recommend going there because the exams are quite hard enough, even if you go there. But it gives you quite a bit of flexibility during the semester. And then while you're basically progressing through the semester, you start studying more intensively towards the end. And then basically there's the exam phase, which is usually happening between the semesters. And this is just exam after exam after exam in a very short time. So better be prepared for it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. And I believe that the city center of Aachen will be quite empty because everyone is
Everyone's
busy studying at
Yeah,
the library
exactly.
then today. Okay, so Adit does have a question. Please, guys, mute yourselves, okay? But you may turn on your cameras. That would be nice. We haven't talked about that, so we can actually see each other here. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Adit. I have mentioned my date of entering Germany in my documents as September 26. Will it be okay to reach by 21st September so as to not miss the welcome week?
I mean, I think it's still safe to do that, but if there's a slim chance that you can change that, of course, it is even better that you arrive a bit earlier, right? Yeah.
I mean, it is a welcome week, so many
Other events are taking
happening.
place
And
there.
if you miss just one or two, I guess that's fine, right?
It really depends. Like on each day, there is like, for example, an academic introduction for a different subject, for example. So if you just arrive a day after your academic introduction, that would be quite
that's a shame.
unfortunate. So I would say ideally you contact us and we can see whether it applies to your specific study program or whether you have basically a day more than other students who might have missed or who can just miss the first academic introduction because it's not even their subject. So when you're unsure, just contact
shoot
us and
message, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Ayush, hi team. Can you guide us on how we can manage our living expenses and part-time jobs options as non-German and just started to learning German? Very good.
Great.
And being an engineering and management course instead of a core engineering course. So advising on living expenses and part-time jobs. So time management question, basically.
Time management question. Yeah. Usually we don't advise of doing part-time jobs in the first semester. All semesters will be packed. All semesters are supposed to be 30 credit points. So the workload is more or less the same overall. But since in the first semester you have a lot more other things to do, you're adjusting, you try to find a flat, you're doing many organizational things around your studies. We usually do not recommend doing this also in the first semester of finding a job. So usually our recommendation is if you want to find a part-time job, a HEVI job, which is like a working student's job, just try to look out for them for the second semester ongoing, because by then you already know what is your speed, for example. Are you actually able to take on all the exams you're supposed to, or is it maybe even too easy for you? So of course you can just then stack up your workload by working part-time as a working student. But this just because many of you are not familiar with the situation here, we usually don't recommend it. But of course, there are exceptions to the rule.
And we also recommend maybe having a look at scholarships that might help you throughout the semester. You know, for enrolled students, that might be something good for you as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which scholarships do we offer? Speaking
For example,
of that.
we have the German language merit scholarship because some students have, a language requirement and they want to take German, but perhaps they want to take even more than their required courses. So that's why the scholarship is there. They can find more information about it in detail in our INTAG website.
Yeah.
And
Also,
those will help towards your expenses, right?
exactly. Yeah. And I would say our expert for scholarships is on the stage later on, so we will just ask her then, because she is managing basically most of our other scholarships.
Yes.
Okay, good. Hayo Lang, a question from you. Could you recommend a day which is well suitable for us to arrive at Aachen, such as September 10th? Yeah, I think we briefly mentioned it.
Yeah.
So the welcome week around this date would be an ideal date, right?
Yeah, that would be
right?
great.
Yeah,
beginning of September.
Exactly. I mean, the welcome week, the first day is September 22nd. That's a Tuesday. I think if you arrive the weekend before the welcome week starts, I feel like you have some couple of days of adjusting to everything, and then you can just join us. I think you don't need to be there like, I don't know, 1st of September, but if you're there shortly before the welcome week starts, I think that's ideal.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it depends on how your renting contract starts, when it starts, right? I mean, if you're already free to move in on September 1st,
great.
and
Yeah,
your,
sure.
Lucky.
your visa is approved, then come on. The
Yeah.
earlier, the better. You have more time to adjust, as you
Exactly.
just said. New country, new city, some bureaucracy to be done. Getting registration at the city of Aachen done, for example. Take care of your health insurance. All those things needs to
All
be
those
done in
bureaucracy.
the first few weeks after arriving here in Aachen. So yeah, the earlier the better. Raf, another question from you. How does the grading system work? Is it really just one exam for the entire grade or no other grade components? That's a good...
Yeah,
question
that's
for you.
something you have to look at in the particular course, right? Because there might be other requirements, but overall the general thing is that at the end you do have these exams, which you get graded for, and then you see if you pass the course or not. But again, it depends on the course. You will have to look what is required and expected from you.
Yeah. I would say the majority of modules work exactly like you described. You have one big exam in the end. but it's always worth to look in the module handbook, and then you just see basically how they're testing you. So it also a little bit depends to your study program, since you will study different study programs. Some have more, some might also have like paperworks which you can hand in, or sometimes even presentations what you have to hold. But I would say 95% of the modules will end with a big exam, and that's 100% of the grade will be the exam.
Sheena, I know you from the GEC. Welcome. And thank you for your question. Hi, team. If we have completed German language exams, can we be exempt from the language courses that you mentioned? Also, when will your office curriculum be available, or the official curriculums will be available? Yeah, let's start with the German language exemption, I think.
I mean, it depends what program you're studying in, but I mean, of course, we want you to learn German, right? Since you're going to be studying here and prospectively maybe even work here later on. But if you want to take another language, depends on your study program, you can also do that as well.
Yeah, I think with Sheena, I know you already know some German, right? Because you're living in Germany, and that's hence your question. So she could maybe just take another language course. Maybe you want to learn Spanish or whatnot. That would be an option too. Yeah.
I would say it's always worth it to make the placement test in the beginning, and then you see what level you are according to the language center. And if you realize you could still up your German by a level, I would always opt for the German course. But we also had the situation of a student who was already coming here with a level which was too high for the German courses. So her German was already, I think, on a C1 level, and then they didn't offer anything beyond that. So then in her case, she just chose, I don't know, Italian or something like that. So a different language, just a language she was interested in, just to fulfill her language course requirement for her curriculum.
Right.
And what about the official curriculums? When will they be available?
Well, I mean, you can have a look already and get informed in the INTAG website, right? But we also have a learning space that once you're enrolled, you can have access to what exactly your semester would be looking like. We have some recommendations there. And of course, you're always welcome to ask if you're in doubt about your curriculum.
Yeah, exactly. With the learning space, currently you're all in the batch 2026 learning space, but we will also have learning spaces for the individual study programs. And there you will find also the curricula, and also everything you need to know about your specific study program. So once you've been added to this learning space, which is gonna be within the next months, I would say, then you will have access to everything. You can check out the curriculum. You can see everything what you need to know, even steps which are not necessarily important for you right now, like how to register the master's thesis or something. But you will basically find a step-by-step guide for all the important things in and around your studies. And if you still have questions, of course, as we mentioned, we are always there for you. Always feel free to reach out to us, make an appointment, write us an email, and we are there to help.
Good. I think, looking at the time, we still have another guest to welcome. And if there are no further questions, then I would say let's end this Q&A with you guys. Thank you very much for answering all the questions and taking the time. And let's welcome on stage Franziska, our career manager.
Hi, Nadine. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Good. Hi, everyone.
Warm welcome. And let's dive into the career topic straight away with a question that many of you guys will ask Franziska eventually, which is, how fast can I get a job after graduation?
Okay. Of course, I expected the question. No, seriously. I mean, we ask our graduates when they graduate to fill out a form to help us get that kind of information. And I've actually looked it up to have the most recent numbers for you. And actually, around 3/4 of our students can find it or do find a job within the next next 6 months.
6 months.
Of course, of whom we ask. Not everyone. It's voluntary to participate in that, but those of those, the ones that have answered that.
Yeah. Great. Yep. So 6 months is really not a very long time considering. Okay. So, how many of those graduates actually stay in Aachen, or better in Germany?
Yeah, that's actually quite a lot, around 80%. The number varies from year to year, but remains quite constant. And of these 80%, a significant number also stays in Aachen. But we safe to say that 80% stay in Germany.
Good.
Around.
There you go. So the opportunities are here for you to continue your career in Germany. And Franziska is going to tell us more about our career program, how we can help you make a career in Germany.
Yes,
Okay.
so I've prepared a little something for you as well. There's a nice image with these puzzle pieces. Most of our study programs actually consist of 4 semesters. Again, these are just pillars, not like really connected to the semesters itself. But it's a nice way of showing you what we offer, because the first piece that I'm going to talk about are our key competence seminars, which are basically to prepare you for a successful study start, which is why they're actually they start actually before you even come to study here. They'll be starting in summer, around July, August, preparing you on modern research methods. So ranging from how do I cite properly, how do I present scientific papers, how do I also write them. And it's completely digital with live sessions in between the talk to your lecture. And another one of those courses is how to write an application in Germany. That's also a very relevant question, because you do actually get the input of how an application portfolio in Germany can look like. A question that I also always get asked is, what kind of documents do we need to hand in? The answer has to be diplomatic in that case, because it varies very much depending on the company itself. So when in doubt and you're studying here and you don't know what to do, you can always contact me. Coming back to the images and the next puzzle piece, which is skill building course. So once you've settled in, because as Jonas said before, the first semester can be quite challenging. There will be some offers from the career prom, don't worry. But when you get settled in, have completed your first exams, around the second semester, we'll be looking at developing more skills. We do have skill building courses, for example, especially for RoboSys students on robot operating system. But we do have more general courses, for example, on international project management, which is going to be really relevant for you if you decide to work in international teams. And basically, it's to give you or help you get the skills that are highly sought after on the job market and in the industry, in addition to the knowledge that you already gain from your study programs. And not necessarily in the third semester, but my third point are workshops, which can range from personal development, so figuring out what it is that you want to do if you're not already sure about that, what your strengths and weaknesses are, working out your vision for your future. That goes for professional or in scientific development, as well. So that we could also have guest lectures to get you like another insight on very relevant and interesting topics. So you can look forward to that as well. And my first puzzle piece and a very big point are events and networks. Again, not just personal networks are important, professional networks of which help you find a job here, ideally here in Germany, are really important. So we do have events just exclusively for you. We know the RWTH already has a lot of great events. Of course, we communicate and inform you about that. We do have some exclusively for you as international students. We do have one coming up in May. So if you watch our social media channels closely, you will see some input about them in the next couple of weeks, or might have already seen them because some of them are out already. But this event, it's called Networking Brunch, and we invite companies there of which we know that they are looking for international talents just like you. And the graphic goes on nicely, putting everything together to fit into each other and to have like the wholesome but still individual to your needs adjusted study program, career program, of course. And what I wanted to say is that the glue that holds it all together is actually advice and coaching. What is this? Of course, as my colleagues from the Student Success Management are your first point of contact when it comes to academic topics or anything that is study related. I'm your first point of contact when it comes to questions about your career. And it says coaching as well, because we do have some external career coaches that can help you on very specific and individual questions that you might have, ranging from CV checks to interview simulations, or even one-on-one working out what your strengths and weaknesses might be, how to work on them, how to professionalize them in order to succeed. And I actually do have another key takeaway message. Key takeaway message for you today, which is successful students start planning their career from the first day of your studies. Why is this important? Because usually, or we have seen from experience has shown that students tend to think of their career or what it is they want to do, or figuring out what they want to do well into their studies. And that's not the approach that we want to take. We want you to think of your career before you even start with us, or at least when you start studying with us, which is why for example, we are also inviting companies to our welcome day, so you can start expanding your network there and all the offers throughout your studies as extracurricular offers, to prepare you for a successful re-entry here in Germany. Okay, but we do have some time left for questions as well. So I'm going to join Nadine back in the more cozy area. And
Exactly. Thank you very much, Franziska. And as before, please, guys, here in the audience, if I were you, I would use the chance here and ask your questions to our experts, namely Franziska, the career manager, everything that comes to mind relating the program itself, or how to land a good job in Germany if you decide to stay in Germany, which we are hoping for because we need skilled workers here in Germany. And there is already a first question from Raf again. Can I just, Is it possible to have a job lined up before graduation? Because I read that internships and or master thesis work can lead to a full-time job.
Yes, of course. I mean, that's the ideal way of this is working. Of course, you can do your internship somewhere, then work on your master thesis, maybe at another country if you want to write it externally. And maybe from this, a job can develop. Again, it is always a good idea to contact us in that case, so that we're working out and everything is working out with concerning visa and is your study program completed, etc. Again, students and successful students inform us. But that is actually a very good case if everything develops perfectly and on top of each other. Because I mean, that also signifies that you did really well if they want to continue working with you.
Absolutely, yeah. Saravanna, a question from you. The Robosis program has an internship option. Not only the Robosis, or many of our programs, I think all of them except for the MMEPS do have a compulsory internship, right, with it. How is it managed along with regular classes? How do we look for internship opportunities?
Yeah. So, like you said, some of our study programs do have internships in their study programs or in their curricula. Some have not. And sorry, maybe let's take a sip first. Sorry, guys. Yes. And how is it managed along with regular classes? Well, that's what also our student success managers are for, because they can plan your curriculum with you so everything works smoothly and according to plan. And even if it does not work according to plan, they're still there to help you plan everything so nothing clashes or your workload might be too heavy. So it can work out. How do you look for internship opportunities? Also a very good questions. That's, for example, for what our events are for. You can actually directly talk to companies there, but we do also within our career services have a career platform where we ask companies to share their job opportunities with us. We look at them so they actually fit your profile. So no more scrolling and finding like something, does this actually match my profile? Because we are screening them for the study programs or for the profiles of our students from our study programs.
But I know that usually all the big RWTH institutes, they also have a job board on their own, right? On each of their websites where they post open opportunities.
Yes, of course. I mean, they do have one, especially for a master's thesis. That's also a very good point to mention additionally. So if you're looking for master's thesis, they do have a very good database where you can look at and also find out which students from which faculties they're looking for. That's a very good point. But they do have a job board with job offers from companies as well. Yeah. And if you want to know more about that while you're studying here, just contact me and I'll give you all the information you need.
Perfect. Shubham, a question from you. How is the RWTH International Academy degree different from RWTH degrees? Are international degrees recognized by Germany? Yes. Do you want to answer that, or?
I think that's a question that we can both answer because it goes rather from or it has parts of the intake process as well as
So there is really no difference at all between the degrees of both universities, because as International Academy, we are 100% subsidiary of the public university RWTH Aachen, and all our master's degrees are officially issued by RWTH Aachen University as well. So there's not a difference at all, and hence, they will be recognized by all German and international companies anyway. So because it is the same degree, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And one has to point out the degree from RWTH Aachen is very valuable. I mean, it's a very well recognized university. So yes.
Yeah. And when it comes to the content of the master itself, maybe I would say that our programs at the International Academy are, of course, addressed to international students such as yourself. That would be a difference between the public master. We offer English-speaking master's courses, and we are usually more practice-orientated, right? Because of the internship, for example. And our lectures are more approachable, our classes are smaller, so all those advantages you do get when you decide to study with us.
Yes.
Okay. Right? Yeah, anything to add?
No, I think you put it quite well. Yeah.
Very good. So, Anirudh, a question from you. What are the opportunities available for students in the mechanical engineering field in and around Aachen? That's a good question.
That's a good question. Very wide question, but nevertheless, it's a very good one because I mean, Aachen is famous for mechanical engineering in general. So it is well known. So when companies are looking for students, graduates, interns from the field of mechanical engineering, they usually start in Aachen because it's well known for that. When in terms of opportunities, as I mentioned before, we do have events ourselves where you can communicate with these companies. Of course, mechanical engineering, I said they fit or they were looking for international students, but they also know about your profiles. So needless to say, they will be looking for mechanical engineering students as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But do we have any, I guess students always want to know some big name droppings here when it comes to who is looking for a job. Do we have any proper corporations with bigger companies or even institutes or something like that? I don't know.
I mean, we're very well connected to all faculties of RWTH, so no need to worry about that. So, and in terms of companies, I mean, we do have big names, for example, that visit our events or have visited our events repeatedly, and we have formed collaborations with that.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be always the big
That's a
global
good point.
players, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because we do have a very broad network of those hidden germs, we always say, right? The hidden champions.
Hidden champions,
Hidden champions in Germany. So middle-sized companies that no one really knows, but they have very good products and they're always looking for qualified engineers. Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's common that our students, when they're looking for jobs in Germany, or when they think of working in Germany after they successfully graduated, they're looking for the big names.
Yeah.
While this is not wrong, anything, don't get this in the wrong way. But especially in Aachen and the landscape, and especially with this research and innovative landscape, a lot of startups, a lot of hidden champions, like you said, who are maybe manufacturers of parts of these that these bigger companies use, where your chances could be a lot higher than being or a number in a small pool of applicants, rather than really showing your individuality when it comes to comes to trying to work in these companies.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Where are we here? Shubham, a question from you. How much is selection rate for the master's degree admission, especially for Indian students, if we complete the GEC program? Yeah, that's a question that I can answer, Shubham, and you are a GEC participant. So, I know that from your name. Basically close to 100%, right? If you have passed all 5 modules that are compulsory in the GEC German Engineering College, then you're pretty much admitted to the master you have applied for. And even if it's only 3 modules you have passed, chances are close to 90% as well that you will get admission. So that's why we are always saying, if you want to study a master with us as International Academy, the best way to get in easily is the German Engineering College as pre-qualification. Good. What else? If we have a low GPA like 2.6 for Indian profile with work experience, is it enough for admission related to masters in automotive mechanical battery systems programs? I understand my question is not proper, but I hope you answer these questions. Yes, what you are referring to is, we are not only looking at your numbers, your grades, but we are really assessing your overall profile, which does include your work experience. And if we find that, as you said, your GPA of 2.6 is maybe a bit low, then maybe you have, you have more points when it comes to your work experience. Maybe you have already worked 2 years in an advanced position that will give your profile more scores. Then also look at your home university, where this is ranked at locally, and all those criteria we put together and make our admission decision. So it's not only the numbers, okay? Good. Jehan Reddy, sorry for the pronunciation. For programs without a compulsory internship, how can interested students approach and integrate one along with the coursework? You mean the internship. If it's not compulsory, you still want to do one. How is it?
Yes, I mean,
manageable.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's there's a reason why there are internships and there are not, but I completely understand the question. I mean, internship is work experience, right?
Yeah,
and that's always valuable.
Yeah.
But actually, that's actually, again, a prime example that you can discuss with your student success managers, because as I said before, they help you with the curriculum and integrating everything and making sure that everything is, how would you say that, set?
Yeah.
So you're not overworked, but you're also not doing too much, and you can successfully finish your studies, ideally in the regular study period.
Yeah. But regular study period, if we mention the internship, from experience, just to be really honest with you, if you do take on an internship, that usually takes already 3 or even 6 months, and that's already 1 semester gone. So usually our students take around 5 semesters to finish their studies because of the internship. So don't think, oh my God, I have exceeded my regular period because of an internship. internship, is this bad? No, it's not. It's actually the regular or the usual time that our students take. Yeah, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, let's take a few more questions on. Kunbo, ma'am, I'm aiming to work as a bridge between China and German robotics industry. What part-time job or student initiative or maybe specific institute companies at Aachen would you recommend that thank you very much. Many questions altogether.
Yes,
Maybe you have
yes.
something.
Well, first of all, that's actually a really nice example of how you can work or where you can use your advantages of being an international student, bridging the gap between two countries and making sure you work well together. Of course, recommendations like in this kind of setting is quite difficult, but you're very welcome to ask me or to write an email to the career email address because it also depends on a few other factors. But there are some and student initiatives. You can actually look that up on the RWH website. I know someone from our team is actually in the chat. Maybe they can already put the link in so you can look at them already, so you do have something to look at. And again, write me an email. You're very welcome to. I'll be expecting your message, and then we can look a little bit further into that.
Yeah. But there will be plenty opportunities, especially in the field of robotics. That's for sure.
Yes, no worries.
Because it's such a current topic. Good. Anirudh, a question from you. When studying in RWTH, will I be able to apply to job opportunities in other regions within and outside Germany? What are the visa restrictions in this aspect? That's interesting.
We are in close contact with the Ausländerbehörde. And there is one branch of them in the Supersee, which is in the central campus of Aachen. And it is always like to get like the latest and the most relevant information for you, always a good idea to contact them when you have specific questions like these. It's not that we don't have an idea of what the answers are, just to be on the safe side, to be on the correct side.
Yeah. Because we are all no visa experts, really.
Exactly. We're experts in career, we're experts in admissions.
Yeah.
But we can direct you to and if you contact us, we can give you their contact. So we're basically the hub for questions just like these.
Yeah. And I think, this is a good ending statement. Looking at the time, guys. Okay, we want to do this last question from Bhuvan. Okay, and then we're going to end this Q&A session. If we want to internship in different city, how do we manage our coursework parallel to internship? Is there an option to defer a semester if we cannot do it parallel for with the coursework? Yeah, I guess. Yes, not ideal, but...
Exactly. I mean, whereas I'm part of the student success management as well. So with a different focus, and as student success, it has it in the name. We are focusing on your success, and your success studying here with us is finishing your study program in time. However, that's where reality and the ideal version diverges. So we know that students do this. Of course, again, we recommend. Of course, focusing on your study programs. However, again, work experience is important. So we know of students that are doing that. And my colleague Jonas put it quite well, there are exceptions to the rule. So in case it's something like this, you want to do something like this, contact us. We'll see how we can support you best, because that's also like success, even if you do not finish within your regular study period, we'll still want you to succeed.
Exactly.
So,
With a question like this is actually a perfect example to have it consulted with before you make the decision to
good
take
point.
on the internship in another country.
Ideally not after,
So we can actually guide you on that. Okay, Shobham, just shortly, a level of German proficiency would we recommend. You don't really need any German to start with us here at the International Academy, because we are English-speaking masters here. But of course, once you decide to come to Aachen. A1 is nice to have, that you can say hello and how to order a beer or buy something in the supermarket. That's always nice, but basically no German at all is fine, because we offer our language courses, and then you can get up to speed with your German language skills. Good. We have to look at the time, because we also want to give you some more steps ahead, upcoming events and webinars. Franziska, you have something on your list that you wanted to talk about, and also our two student success managers also want to give you the heads up about next upcoming webinars and events.
Yes. So we have another slide prepared. So if you're unsure if you want to study with us or not, of course, we recommend that you do, because that we have prepared a slide of what it is that you're going to get when you're actually joining our official International Academy community, which is access to the intranet learning space. That's what we've just been talking about now, which is kind of similar to a Moodle platform, where there can be courses that you visit digitally, but also like the hub for information when it comes to information regarding your intake year, regarding the topic of career, and also information related to your study program. So that's a big plus when you're studying with us. And of course, more informative webinars where you get first-hand insights, and where we invite special guests to welcome you and to give you all the information that you need. And of course, I mentioned it before, and we will have some dates for you on our very last slide, which are the career prep courses, the key competence courses that I was just talking about, where you learn how to get like your model application portfolio, or where you're on the newest, how would you say that? Or you get like the latest information of how research works. I mean, it's called modern research methods. So it's basically how scientific work is done, actually. So that's a very good point. And another course, especially with regards to you being international students, learning strategies. Everyone studies differently. Everyone learns differently. Some need music. Some need to be completely silent. Some rather learn in the evenings. Some learn rather better in the mornings. And figuring that out and working that out, that's what that course is for. And you can register for that soon as well.
Good. Then we'd like to welcome back our two success managers, Sophia and Jonas, because they also want to give you just a little bit more on insights.
I'll give over to you.
Of course, you can refresh a bit your memory. You have us there today. Christine Rosenberger is also part of our team, but she's not here with us. Maybe in the next webinar, you will get to meet her as well.
Yeah. And speaking of the next webinar, we don't have an exact date yet, but it will be scheduled in July. This was basically the next time you will see us and also see Christine. And also, as we mentioned before, the next very important events, which will be in person, will be the Academy Welcome Week in September and the Welcome Day in the week after. And as Franziska already mentioned, there will be also some upcoming career events throughout the summer semester. So for you to enjoy and take place while you're still at home in your home countries is, the next one is the engineering application on July 31st, then modern research methods on August 7th. And during the summer with a date which will be announced later, the course Learning Strategies. Yes, and that's about it from our upcoming events.
I might add, I don't have a slide for that, but I know that many of you guys here in the audience are probably have applied for and been admitted to the Robotic Systems Engineering Master, which is our most famous master currently running. And we do have the program introduction for this master next Thursday. I'm going to send out an invitation email next Monday, but already give you the heads up next Thursday for all the robotics here. Join this webinar with Professor Corvus from the IGMR, the Hosting Institute. That's going to be very, very interesting for you guys. Yeah, and I think that's it for this live talk. Thank you guys here very much, our student success management team, Jonas, Sophia, and Franziska, for making the time available here today and answering all those questions. And I guess we will see all of you, and not in this setting, but maybe in a different setting, in one or the other webinar in the future, as we just listed them. And before you leave the session, please be so kind and answer a survey, which is going to be posted in the Zoom chat right now. This is just for us to give us a feedback how we are doing with the webinar, what's good, what's not, what's to improve. So take the time and fill that out. And with this, we all say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for joining, and see you.